Hi, if you like the video, please remember to subscribe.
Hi, I'm Rob from robandiphoto.com, and tonight's video is going to be a short little kind of instructional how-to on how you can gain control of your phone's internet data management and basically avoid getting a large phone bill at the end of the month if you're on contract, or avoid running down all your credit if you're on a monthly pay-as-you-go type, or a pay-as-you-go type system. Previously I had a HTC Desire, and on that contract I was lucky enough to have unlimited internet access, but as you'll probably know if you've bought a phone recently, or looked at changing your contract, almost every single deal you get, if you don't want to spend £30 upwards, has some sort of cap on the data. So for example, on this deal I got from O2 on the Google Samsung Galaxy Nexus, I'm £21 a month and I get 500 megabytes of data, which isn't actually that much when you take into account downloading apps and music and watching videos and all that sort of stuff. So it's really important we know what we're doing. And one of the things we often don't realise about our phones is that although, for example, this one doesn't seem to be doing much now, in the background the apps are constantly updating themselves or downloading data, uploading information, checking in with their developers and all sorts of stuff. So there's all this stuff that's going on in the background that's chewing up your data allowance when it's going over the mobile internet. So the first thing we need to do is really take control of it. And what you can do, first thing I would say, is install this little thing here, which is a power control app. And to add it, I mean, I'm doing this on the Ice Cream Sandwich Android 4. It'd be different on earlier versions, or later if you're watching this in a few years time. But basically you go to your widgets, go to the power control widget, which is there, grab it, and then I'll put it on a blank page, say there. And then what this enables you to do is to control wireless, Bluetooth, GPS, syncing, and the brightness of your screen. Let's go back to my home page so you can see. And the other thing you need to install is Data Switch. So if you go to the Android market, or Google Play Google Play as it's now known as, do a search for Data Switch. Don't know if you can see that, and then it's the one with the blue globe. Whoops. It's the one with the blue globe and the little red cross on it. So now what I have the capability of being able to do is I can turn on and off my mobile internet or my data just by pressing that button there, and you'll see it say enabling mobile data. Press it again and disabling mobile data. There may well be better apps at doing this that show you more information, because the only way that you know whether you're connected or not to the internet is if you look at the top where the little bars are. You'll get the 3G or the H sign up there, and if that's not there, you know you're not connected. The other important control from this two things we've just added is obviously wireless. We can turn the wireless connection on or off, and obviously what you want to be doing is whenever you can be on a wireless connection when you're at home or at office, so you're using that data. But also these little arrows, which is sync. Now as soon as you press that and that goes off, as it has done now, that means that the apps aren't allowed to sync. They're not allowed to send data up or down. Now you may well say, well, doesn't turning the data switch off do that as well? Well, it does, but it's a bit of belt and braces. Plus there may well be times when you want to be connected to the internet, the mobile internet that is, when you're out or on your provider's data system, and you want to be browsing the web, but you don't want things like Google in the background updating itself, uploading photographs and things like that. So what we can do now is we've now got the power. The power is in our hands to turn off the data system completely with Data Switch. we can turn on Wi-Fi whenever we want to, or we can control whether apps sync or not. Now remember, there's also lots of free places out there for using internet, like McDonald's, your local library, and all sorts of different places. So if when you're out and about, say you're on holiday or something like that, and you haven't got access to your home Wi-Fi, go somewhere like a McDonald's and use their free Wi-Fi to upload photographs or download music or videos and things like that. Then basically, using these simple controls here, just get yourself into the habit of when you're out and about. Say basically when I'm out and about, let's turn wireless off, turn syncing off. So this would be how my phone would be most of the time during the day. It's just as a phone, I can let's just go back. I can message people, and I can use my phone as to call people, but I don't want it chewing up my data rate, and it can't, because it's not attached to the data network and it's not allowed to sync. And then when I want to check my emails, what I'll do is I press the sync button, press the data switch button, mobile data comes on, you'll see a little H has appeared up there, you might be able to see that. And then what will happen now is I could go into Gmail and it will sync itself. I can force it to sync by using the settings, and then it will come up with the latest emails. I can maybe go onto Google Reader, read a few articles, and then as soon as I'm finished, go back to the home screen, switch off the data, switch off the syncing, and my phone, my fabulous smartphone that can do all these things, is now just an ordinary phone that can just text and make or receive phone calls. Now, the next thing you should do is turn off how your apps update, because apps are quite they're getting bigger and bigger every day, and there's loads and loads of updates happening all the time because of things like Ice Cream Sandwich coming out and updates with different phones and things like that. So if you go into, let me turn Wi-Fi back on, turn syncing back on so you can actually see. So if we go into the Google Play shop, formerly the Android market, if you go into there and then you go into the settings, which is just there, you can go down here and you see I've got auto update apps, but also on update over Wi-Fi only, I've got that ticked. So that means that all my apps will only ever update when I'm connected to a Wi-Fi network. So that's really good. That will reduce the amount of data they're using to update a lot. Another important one is Google Plus. Everybody who's got an Android phone should have Google Plus installed on it, even if you don't use Google Plus, because what it does is, as you're taking photos and videos, it uploads them to the web and creates a backup for free, which is fantastic. The problem is, though, that's going to be using data. So what you want to do is, again, go into the settings, and see it's got turn on instant upload, that's ticked, so that means it's going to upload my photographs and videos to back them up. But then it says when to upload photos, I've got over Wi-Fi only. When to upload videos, only when there is a Wi-Fi connection available. So another major bandwidth hog, Google Plus uploading photos and videos, because I take lots of photos, is only going to do that when I'm on Wi-Fi, so that's going to reduce my overheads for using data. Now, the next thing you can do, and this is new for Ice Cream Sandwich on phones like the Galaxy Nexus, is you can really monitor your mobile data usage. So if you go into the settings and then go into data usage, you get these great well, first off, what you get is a kind of a data screen here, where you can see how much data you're using, and you can set a cap for the amount of mobile data your phone is allowed to use. And now, because I'm on 500 megabytes a month, I put my limit at 470 megabytes. And so what will happen is, when I reach that, the phone will stop using the mobile data network. It would just say, sorry, stopped, and I would have to physically turn it on. and that will avoid me getting any overall payments. The other extra payments, the other thing is just underneath there, at 405 megabytes, it's going to give me a warning and say, whoa, 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 you're getting close to your limit for the month. Back off, stop doing stuff. And you can set your usage cycle as well. You can move stuff, and the idea of that is you can make that then match what your billing cycle is. Now, what we can also do is if we... Oh, I've just mucked around with it, haven't I? Let's just bring that down. Now, if we come down here as well, what we can also see is how much mobile data each individual application has used. So if you look here, you can see that the browser has used almost 38 megabytes worth of data. Google services, which is things like contacts, accounts, network location, has used, here we go, let's go back, where were we? Has used sort of 11 megabytes, and from that they kind of go down. So this gives you a really good idea of what's using what. And what you can also do in the settings is you can have it ticked on show Wi-Fi usage. Oop. And then when you go into this, you can go down and look at the apps that you've been using on Wi-Fi, and this is going to be quite scary really, because it shows you what you would have been using on your data allowance if you hadn't used Wi-Fi. So I've got Google Plus has used 504 megabytes worth of data, Google Play Store apps 223, Winamp 610 megabytes, all this sort of stuff. So that's quite scary. So let's go back to the mobile there. So as you can see, if we keep an eye on this, we can make sure that if any app suddenly starts to appear to be using lots of data against our allowance, we can address that. Now you can also go even further in this, in that if you tap on things like Google Reader, it shows you what bandwidth it's been using, but it also tells you what it's been using in data terms in the foreground and in the background. So the foreground is when you're actually using the app and it's downloading stuff, and in the background is when you're on the internet and it's doing its own thing. So you can imagine you flicked on your syncing, you flicked on your internet connection, and you're just browsing in the web. What Google Reader's doing is, in the background, it's busily doing stuff. Now, when I've actually been using Google Reader, it's used 13 megabytes worth of mobile data, but in the background it's used 8.7, which is loads, isn't it? So what you can do is you can restrict background data. So that will stop that particular app from doing stuff in the background that you don't know about it, and it'll only do stuff when you're physically looking at the app and using it in a proactive manner. Now you can do that for all the things. If you click on the settings, you can see restrict background data. But what could happen then is some apps won't work very well because they need to be doing stuff in the background. So I would suggest that you just do it on things that you can kind of guess are probably doing something in the background and are making a big difference, like Google Reader, because that's going to be updating itself all the time. Some of the other stuff like Google Services, although Google Services does everything in the background, 11 megabytes in the background, it's syncing your contacts and doing your bookmarks and stuff like that. So you probably want it to carry on doing that sort of stuff. So I would say just keep coming back and look at how much mobile data you've used. So for example, with this one from the 13th to the 23rd of March, so in 10 days, I've used about 156 megabytes. And you probably can't see it on the video, but there's like a little arrow that's coming up here that's kind of predicting what I'll probably be using in the past. So month is 30 days, so times that by 3. What's that? That's 300. That's about 450 megabytes, which should be just underneath my allowance. But this is a new phone, and I have been playing around with it a lot, so that would kind of explain a lot of things like that. But if you come back and look at this at least once a week, you'll know if you're using your mobile allowance a little bit too much, and maybe you need to adjust your use of particular apps, whether you use them on Wi-Fi or maybe even increase your contract so that you don't come up against the bandwidth limits. Now, the thing to remember though, and it says it in the app somewhere at the bottom I think, is that how the phone measures data and how your carrier measures data could well be different, so always give yourself a little bit of elbow room just in case. Now, some carriers may well give you a special app you can use as well, and so with O2, who I'm with, there's an app called My O2 on Android, and if I log into that, this gives me in more detail exactly what O2 think I've been using, which is really good in terms of minutes, texts. Oh, they're having a bit of trouble. Now that's typical, isn't it? Is it because I've turned everything off? No, it looks like we're synced. Let's turn the data, mobile data on. Let's have a look at what we're doing here. It's always embarrassing when this happens when I'm recording a video. Right, here we go, let's see. It's pin code protected, so I don't want anything to happen. Let's see, come on O2. Show me what's happening. So I want to recommend this app because I think it's really cool. Sorry, we're having some problems. Well, anyway, what the O2 app shows you is exactly how much data you've used, exactly how much data you've got left until the end of your current billing cycle, and your minutes and your text. So that's really, really good and very, very useful indeed. Because the last thing we want is to get a big bill. So, in conclusion then, if you want to control the amount of data you're using on your Android smartphone, make sure you install something like the power control widget, so you're in charge of when your phone's connecting to the internet if you use it in combination with something like data switch. You can go into the settings actually and turn it off, but data switch makes it really easy. And then get into the habit of, you know, when you want the internet, turn it on, but as soon as you're finished, turn off the internet, turn off syncing, and then as soon as you get to the office or you get home, whack on your wireless, whack on your syncing, so it's doing it like that. Do that. Make sure you monitor your usage, you know, at least once a week, and go into the settings and make sure you change it so that all the updates are done over Wi-Fi only, and things like Google Plus only upload over Wi-Fi only. Well, there we go. My name's Rob from robnunphoto.com, and I hope this has been a helpful video in showing you how you can reduce your mobile data usage and hopefully avoid some big phone bills. Thanks for watching, and please come on over and check out the blog. Bye.